Hey everybody, Mommy Machine here. This is my very first video, so it's probably gonna suck, but be nice, okay? So I'm gonna show you our little operation. I'm a suburban mom of 3 with very limited time and fairly limited organizational skills and very limited budget, but we're trying to be green anyway in our small space, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. So that's what this is all about. That's why I'm making this channel, is to share with you guys the small things that even I can manage to do that make a difference, a small difference, but if everybody does it, it adds up, you know? And because if I can do it, anybody can do it. And the more people who do it, the more difference we make. So let's see, can I figure out? Okay, I can't figure out how to flip the camera around. I guess I had to choose one or the other. So I apologize if my aim is a little off. So here are all the things that I'm growing in my little sunny windowsill here. And sorry about the air puffing noise. That was a fungus gnat. This is my tomato plant. This guy volunteered in my garden, and I just yanked it out of the ground a couple of weeks ago so the frost wouldn't kill it. And it turns out that my timing was good because we had our first freezing night a couple days ago. So I've got here some watercress that I pulled out of this big watercress that was just a piece of Pete's Living cress from my grocery store. These are some spinach seedlings. These were from my garden 3 years ago. I bought these seeds and stored them properly, and look at that. That's very nearly a 100% germination rate. So don't toss your seeds if you think they're too old. Just stick them in some dirt and see what happens, because you never know. More watercress, regrowing some green onions. This is one of the few vegetables that's actually worth your time to regrow, because it actually regrows a lot. Here we have some Swiss chard, that's right here, and some kale sprouting up, and some tomato starts. I wouldn't normally be starting these in October because I don't know how I'm going to keep them from turning into a crazy jungle in my house for 6 months, but these actually sprouted inside the tomato. That's not supposed to happen, but it did. So I stuck them in some dirt, and we're going to see what happens. I like to do crazy experiments in my house with plants. This is some romaine that I'm regrowing. I don't even like romaine, but now I have free lettuce. There's my celery, because if you stick it in some water in the windowsill, it grows like a plant instead of rotting like forgotten vegetables in the fridge. This is another crazy experiment. I had to prune my tomato plant for better airflow. And I've heard that tomatoes will root from cuttings. We're going to find out whether that's really true. I'll keep you updated. Now we're going down in the basement where I have more crazy plant lady stuff. I've got one little grow light that my dad bought me. Thanks, Dad. There it is. And here we have potatoes. And that one is a sweet potato. Now, I learned from the M.I. Gardener, his channel is awesome, you should check it out, that there are 2 different kinds of sweet potato plants, 2 kind of broad categories of them. There are the ones that just root in one spot and form tubers in that one spot, and then they'll vine all over and form leaves to feed the plant, but they don't root along the vine and produce more tubers. And then there's the other kind, where as the vines creep along the ground, they root periodically and form more tubers and more plants in new spots. And I've discovered that this one here is the kind that does produce more roots from little rooting bud thingies there. See those? Those right there. Little rootlets. So I'm going to try the regular potato technique on this sweet potato and see what happens. Because I've read that with regular potatoes, you can plant them in a few inches of dirt in the bottom of your tub. And then once the plants get tall like this, you put more dirt up to about here. And then you just keep going until you fill up the bin. And then you let the plants get tall and do their thing and feed down into the roots and grow nice potatoes for you. But you get more by doing kind of the indoor equivalent of hilling your potatoes. Now I'm going to find out whether that works with sweet potatoes too. This experiment actually originally started as a mistake because I didn't know that potatoes and sweet potatoes are in completely different families, not even related at all. So I just assumed that I could do the same thing with both and that it would work. I was mistaken, but it looks like I got lucky with with my grocery store sweet potato being the right kind. So we're going to try this experiment and see what happens. And I've got a couple more little potato plants springing up and a spider here, keeping the gnats to a minimum for me. We've also got some more baby greens that are going to be sprouting in these trays. These are basil. Oh, well, you're seeing the celery. There's my name. Here we go. These are basil plants that I just took some cuttings that my friend gave me because I had more than I could use, and I stuck them in some dirt and they grew. So basil can root from cuttings. Celery is a waste of time to try to regrow. It regrows really, really slowly. Don't bother with it. These are all going to get chopped up and put into my soup broth real soon. But it was a worthwhile experiment. We tried, and they at least stayed fresh and usable longer than they would have. And this is our buddy the toad. He's not related to the growing operation. You probably can't see him too well, but there is an American toad in there. You've probably caught some glimpses of my messy house and my disorganized basement in the midst of all this, because we're not perfect and we're not going to pretend. But I hope you enjoyed this video, seeing a little bit of our operation. That's the indoor side. I'll show you guys the outdoors later. It's pretty much a big work in progress right now. There's nothing growing out there yet. I'm just trying to prepare the ground for my garden for the spring. And I'm doing it very, very slowly because I have 3 little kids and me and my husband, and I basically spend 90% of the day just feeding everyone and then trying to clean up. But little by little, we'll get things done. And on my next video, I will show you what's outside. So there you have it. If you have any green ideas, just grow for it. Because if I can do it, you can do it.